Oh, yeah. Okay, I think we're gonna try to get started here. Yeah. And so we usually like to do the first 5 minutes as kind of a meet and greet. Hopefully you guys have been talking to each other. And then I'm going to breeze through our welcome loop presentation before we dive into our scheduled agenda. So we start with our mission and vision. We envision a Capitol Hill where all people feel a sense of value and belonging and are empowered to contribute to the civic life and the well-being of the community. Our mission is to strengthen the community by educating, engaging, and uniting residents through inclusive dialogue and programs that improve the quality of life in the neighborhood and the broader community. Yeah. You need to do it from here.
Yeah, I just need to enable the live stream.
Okay. How do I do it?
No, it's in Zoom.
Sorry, we're gonna enable the live stream on YouTube, which is always like somehow 3 buttons deep. As is the case with most tech things these days, don't you think? So a member of our council is starting at the city boundary by Davis County, bordered by City Creek Canyon, North Temple, and I-15. If you are within that and you are over 16 and you own and operate a business or you live here as a resident, you are a member of this council. To participate, anyone can participate, and anybody has a right, an equal right to do that. We'd like to have rules to try to respect everyone's rights. So please raise your hand, wait to be recognized before speaking. And then we do like to have the microphones passed around so that people I feel like this one's fading in and out. Is it fine? Okay. Because this lets the Zoom people hear, even though it's kind of loud for this room or for me. During this time, we'll try to limit comments to 2 minutes because we don't have a lot of comments. And then please keep the comments to the current proposal. Regarding most proposals, there will be a question and answer period, which is like finding out more information. And then there will be like a discussion period where you can raise your opinions. You can, say whether you're for or against it or whatnot. So it's important that you distinguish that for the group and try to fact find early so everyone has the information before they start talking about their opinions. Then we like to debate with dignity. This is the dignity index. Please be germane, be on topic, but also treat everyone with the respect that they deserve. There will be no meaningful discussion unless we be dignified about it. Oh, thank you. Please get involved. We have committees. This is a good reminder. If there's an attendance QR code, please fill that out. That would be awesome. And then we are seeking board members to fill vacancies. That's the next slide. Okay. This is supposed to say something else, but that's okay. We have a new special board member because that's in between June and July, which is our special topic. Yeah. What else is on that?
I just want to pull up the agenda.
Yeah.
Perfect.
In the announcement section.
Sorry, I'm a little rusty.
You got it, Jonathan.
We will have special elections for the board in the July meeting. So please think about that, pass that around. And we would love to have more nominations for the board so we can vote them in. And then the financial report by Scott is, I don't think he's here, but we will post that in the minutes when they become available. And then we'll just roll right into our announcements. We like to start with the Utah Film Center. No, it's all right. You can go to their website. They have an events page, and then they have like an event almost every single day. We use their boardroom and it's great as for our board meetings. Please visit them. Next will be Jennifer Ortiz.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Ortiz. I am representing the Utah Historical Society and wanted to just share, I'm also a member of the community as well, but wanted to share, we have been working on the Museum of Utah for the last few years. As you know, there is a brand new building up at the Capitol Complex, the North Capitol building. And inside that building is going to be a state history museum. We're one of the last states in the country to open up a state history museum. And this will be opening on June 27th to the public. So I do have a few flyers. I'm going to hand those around. Just a little bit of information and a save the date for those of you who are here in person. But it is 17,000 square feet of gallery space, both permanent and rotating gallery space. And on the 27th, we're going to have food trucks, live music. It'll be kind of this big gathering. We expect between 7,000 to 10,000 people. So that's something to be aware of. But we're also employing some shuttle services to not as deeply impact the community as well. Being somebody who lives here, I understand that parking can be an issue. So with the Capitol Complex and all the new parking available there, plus the shuttle service that we'll be running, we hope that it'll be a great day. So I hope folks come out and I'm happy to answer any questions about the museum or about the event itself.
Very quickly, if there are any.
Where will the shuttles be?
The shuttles will be at 125 South, let me get this address correctly. We are utilizing the church's parking lot right off of North Temple. Right off of North Main. So that can be found on our website and through our social media. We're going to be posting directions to that, but we'll have 4 shuttles running every 20 minutes.
It is on here.
Anything else?
It's not link. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And then the other announcement, which I kind of pre-did, which I shouldn't have done, but that's all right. Amy Trujillo is not here, but she has been added to our board at the temporary capacity until a special election. She will also be heavily involved with Jam Fest. If you're interested in that, you'll be working with her. And then our next one is Utah Symphony, which I think are posts, like there's placards. Yeah. Do you want to speak 30 seconds about it?
Will be so quick. I am Jen Sharp with the Utah Symphony, just making sure you all are aware that on July 3rd, the Utah Symphony is going to be performing right at the steps of the Capitol. So feel free to come. It's at 8:30. So I also wanted to come here. I do live in Marmalade, so I know we're always worried about noise, but it's super hot. So the concert starts at 8:30. So we might go a little past 10, but it's all classical music.
She put it out.
Yes.
Flyers.
I saw it and thank you, that's for.
Oh, yeah.
She has flyers for it, but
There was a QR code or
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's just.
Do you know where it is?
Way to get a sense of who's coming, but anyone can come, bring a blanket,
I know it is.
spread out where you want to be. We'll just be on the cement area, so go where you want. And the activities start around 6. There'll be food trucks, so obviously bring a picnic if you want, and hope to see you all there.
Yay.
Well, here we
Well,
are.
I'm artist.
I don't know where you're gonna do there. Hey,
I'm
thank
so
you.
sorry. I put the flyer in the wrong spot, but we'll put it up on the edge. I apologize.
On the agenda.
And then bees around the city. Yeah. Quick announcement. Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chloe, and I am working with a group here that we're trying to launch a art project for this upcoming year. The goal is to have it launched by September. What the goal is, I was gonna say, we'll get it up in just a second. I'm gonna pass some flyers around too. But what we're trying to do is on Main Street, we are installing 7 bee statues, 1 for each community council in the area. So the goal is to basically be able to, with our temple opening happening, be able to show that Salt Lake City is not this monolith. It is a very diverse, very caring community that has several people living around it. So these are giant bee statues that will go onto Main Street.
No.
let's get this slide. So some of the things that we're trying to do here, support some local artists. We're trying to show that we're not just one community. And we also want to get your guys' vision and put it onto a beat. These 7 Bs will be on Main Street. Also working with these people. But we're working with, right now, we're kind of going through the preliminary phase of getting your guys' ideas for what your community means to you. So I'm going to hand out a flyer to you guys. If you have time or have I'd love for you guys to write down some stuff for me. But then also I'd like you, if you could scan the QR code, we can also take one of these home and take the full survey for us. One of our goals is to actually have one of the artists that does the Capitol Hill Bee to actually be from Capitol Hill. So we want, basically they would also get $1,000 with it along as well. So it's a great opportunity for an artist to be able to show off their skills and also somebody that you guys can pick. So if you guys have any friends, family, or community members that you know that are artists, please suggest them for this program. So if you want to go to
Yeah, thanks.
perfect. So we're trying to get them up by September. We're going to have a launch party and everything at that time. When they'll be hopefully around for about a year on Main Street. And then I believe the goal is to give them back to the community where you guys can display them somewhere here in your district.
Next one.
So it looks like I got a little messed up.
Yeah.
No, no.
And it's not, that's
okay.
okay. There's been a couple of versions of her because when you download and do all these things. So the QR code here, and then I will also hand out some papers. If you guys would like to give me some preliminary ideas, I would love to gather some of those tonight. And then if you guys can take another one to take home and take the full survey, we'd love to get all of your community ideas, any stories that you have, anything that you really love about this community, because that's what we're trying to show through this. One last thing that I kind of want to point out real fast. Sorry, I'm sorry. We are looking for sponsors because we did get a grant for this project. But we are still looking for some community sponsors where your logo would go on the bee at the during the time that it's out on Main Street. So you kind of get a little bit of view, and then it would also direct people to the district to come bring some economic growth for you guys. So if you're interested, I believe we sent you guys the flyer for that. So if anyone has any interest, please let us know. And thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, these will all be put on the website too, and of course in the minutes. The final thing that there's a fair number of people here for is going to be towards the end of the meeting, and that is the proposals. Sorry, not that one.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Is it on here?
Oh yeah. Scroll down to the discussion of those guys. So we have a couple of different proposals for everyone to kind of get started on thinking about this. This is in regards to the GLAM project that got approved in May by the Capital Preservation Board. There's 5 proposals here. There's sheets in the back, and if you have problems with these proposals or you would like the body as a whole to vote on them in a particular way or different wording, please write your amendments on little papers and deliver them to Sam, our recording secretary, who will combine all the feedback and try to edit these so that we can then review them around 7 or so and vote on them. Okay, thank you for that, Chief Red. No, I apologize.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
It's good to be with all of you. A couple months ago, I was scheduled to be here, and it was on my calendar for a Friday night. I kept saying, why does this community council meet on Friday night? You know, and I asked my team, and I kept bringing it up, and I never thought to confirm that it was not on a Friday night. So I missed the meeting. I apologize. That's embarrassing, but that's what happened. But it's good to be with you. And now, this is a beautiful neighborhood that you live in. My wife's grandfather grew up over on Pugsley. So years ago, she grew up in the Bay Area, and he moved out to the Bay Area. But this is a street that he grew up on over here. So anyway, it's good to be with you. I do have a presentation But you're not gonna wanna go through the whole thing. It's too many slides. I really prefer just having a conversation. I can highlight a couple things off the slide. We can talk about whatever you'd like, but maybe we could just start with any questions that you have about the police department, about what we're trying to accomplish, any concerns that you have as a neighborhood. And we'll just start with question and answer. If we run out of time, we won't even go to the slides.
I think that, I think that y'all have a text number or something. When we have things we want to report, I don't want to call emergency dispatch. So I'd like to know if there are some other ways to let the police department know about something and say, hey, I'd like you to look into this or whatever, but not tying up emergency dispatch with things that are not an emergency.
Sure. So we have a phone number. It's 801-799-3000. So 801-799-3000. It's a non-emergency number, but someone will pick up and take your call. But that's what that number is for. You can call in. I have heard a couple times that we need to have a text number, a texting, the ability to receive texts. And Robin, I don't know if we have that or not. If we do, we need to advertise it better. So we're
I keep seeing that on Nextdoor, and I kept thinking, I've never heard of that.
we need to, I need to look into that. So we'll take a note tonight on the texting side. There's also an email called Ask the Chief. You can go to our website and go to Ask the Chief. And you can also just leave an email, and that goes directly to Lieutenant Hartney here. And I should introduce my team that's here. This is Lieutenant Hartney. She's in our chief's office, and she will monitor the Ask the Chief and then get information.
And we have online reporting as well. On the website, if you go to the slcpd.com, and then there's online reportings, you can actually do it online as well.
Yeah. And then I have Deputy Chief Alex Garcia in the back as well. It's here with us tonight. So that's my team. But we'll look into the texting option, because I think we need to get with the times. That's the way that people like to communicate a lot now. So good question. Next.
Oh,
You'll hear everybody.
but the online people would like to hear you as well.
So I've talked to a few of you. I'm really interested in working with is to try to alleviate the problem and make sure that just fine. And it's only a matter of time until they see you lost. So I sent an email to Jerry Smith, but I wonder if there's a way that I can meet with you and try to understand the problem.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. What's that? Her question. So the question was, is there a way that we could sit down as a community with the police department and probably the fire department and others and figure out how we can prevent any more fires and the issues around homelessness on the Victory Road and up on the hill? And yes, we can get your information down. We can sit down and have a discussion. I can tell you our officers have been up there all of this year, off and on all of this year. Prior to this fire, we were up there 10 days with the health department doing a cleanup. So we are now working with the state currently with the fire department and looking at some better and longer term solutions. One of the things we are going to do as a police department is more regularly fly our drone in that area, looking for any signs of encampments. And instead of waiting, on it maybe every month or every couple months doing a cleanup, as soon as we see that, we're going to get up there and try to address it. I know that we're looking at some fencing options, clearing out some trees where people congregate. So we're looking at all of those things. And my, I live against. I have my house backs up to a hill just like this, and I've been evacuated from lightning, fire. So I understand that we have, but we're committed to continuing to work on this issue. So if I can get Lieutenant Hartney to get your name, and we'll set something.
And I'm the only one. I'm sure there are many. Does it work?
I'm sure there are many that would like to be involved and have.
Well, maybe we should set up a community meeting specifically for this issue.
I would love that.
Okay, we can do that if you'll take a note on that, Lieutenant Hartney. Thank you. I'm glad no one was hurt and no structures were burned, but this is a serious issue we've got to work on together.
Chief, what is the SLCPD's relationship currently with ICE? We have people who work and live in our neighborhood who may be at risk.
Sure, good question. We get this one a lot. So we do not participate in what's known as the 287G. So we don't have a formal relationship with ICE. We do not, as we go about our patrol duties, when we go to calls for service, we do not ask immigration status as a police department. We don't want to do that because we want people to feel comfortable in our community calling, no matter who they are. And so that's kind of where we're as a police department. We do occasionally, and I've said this, we do occasionally cooperate with ICE when they're dealing with a violent criminal or a drug trafficker or someone who's been in aggravated reentry. That communication and cooperation typically happens at the jail when someone's being booked on a violent crime or something like that. So that's our relationship with ICE and how we work. We do know I know the acting director here of ICE. We do have communication, and it's important that we have that so that we can understand what they're trying to accomplish, and so we can make it as safe as possible for everyone. There's been a number of protests out at the new proposed ICE facility. We are out there as a police department because the first time that there was a protest out there, we chose not to be there and put a team kind of in the area. When we weren't there, individuals not really affiliated with the organized protest, but people who showed up after started throwing rocks at the building, damaging the building. An ICE officer's wrist was broken when that was going on. And then organizers of the protest actually stopped and stood in front of the people throwing rocks and putting themselves at risk. So we've made the decision to be out there. We've kind of backed off our presence out there some and made some adjustments. But last Saturday when we weren't out there, people went back on the property again, trespassing, and we got called to be there anyway to address that. So it's a tough balance, but if you see that we're out at the warehouse, that's why we're out there, because when we're not, we get called there anyway.
Do you guys have any control of the traffic around the Capitol, or is that totally the state troopers? Because this got way out of hand, noise-wise.
Yeah. So Glenn here knows that we've been in meetings. We've been talking about this. I was on a call today with the mayor, and she has something called Vision Zero, where she wants to reduce fatalities, make it safer for pedestrians, for traffic in our city. And one of the issues related is the noise issues around the Capitol, the traffic issues speeding up there. So no, the state troopers aren't the only ones that have jurisdiction. We have jurisdiction as well. It is a state road. State Street is a state road, but we still have jurisdiction and we enforce there as well. We've been trying, this department hasn't been fully staffed for a number of years. We're to the point now, thanks to, and we have Councilmember Wharton here, thanks to the city council and to the mayor, we've been able to get fully staffed, and not all of those officers are deployed out to the street yet. Some are in the academy. But we're writing a new strategic plan for the department right now that's in process. One of the areas of focus is going to be traffic safety and traffic enforcement. As we get more fully staffed, we're going to have more time to be a little more proactive on those types of things. This is something that the mayor is bringing up as well. So we're going to work on it. I'm not going to tell you we're going to fix it overnight in one time, but it is something that we're thinking about and starting to focus on.
So what would that look like? Let's just say we're enforcing the noise. What does that look like? I've never seen that before. What would it look like enforcing the noise ordinance?
Yeah, it's a little tough because it's hard to define what decibel level it's finally a violation. But if you go on our socials, you can see a situation. We highlighted this recently in our socials where we had a car, it was a BMW, driving down State Street with no muffler. It was loud. We pulled it over. The woman driving it didn't have a driver's license. The car was, I think she didn't have insurance. And so we towed the vehicle. We gave her a citation and towed the vehicle.
So like that person didn't have muffler. So it's kind of like you pulled them over because they didn't, you know what I mean? But these are cars that are pimped out. I don't know what the word is.
Yeah.
What would you do in those cases?
Well, if the noise comes across excessive, we can make a traffic stop and we can talk to those individuals, or if they're speeding, we can pull them over. There's not real strong clarity in the noise level. And so it also depends on what a prosecutor is willing to take in a case. So some of that, we've been talking about legislative fixes. We've been talking about Noise, we're collecting we have a device where we're collecting data right now on the decibel levels. And then, that might be something that we could take to the legislature or the city council at some point. Our presence, just being there, will slow people down and maybe decrease the amount of noise. So we're looking at how we can staff up. We're talking to the highway patrol about helping as well. And maybe one week we kind of increase some enforcement. The next week they increase some enforcement. We're getting things in place. It's not going to be an overnight fix, but it's something we're committed to definitely looking at. We've had a couple meetings with community members like Glenn. I know it's not moving as fast as Glenn wants or anyone wants, but we're working on it.
Based on that, would it ever make sense to, I hate like feeling like a narc, but say you have a car that's very loud and get the license plate and call the non-emergency and report the license plate. Would that ever make sense, or would you have to be like catching them in the act? Like you wouldn't just run their plate and say, oh, they live at this address, let's show up and see what car they're driving.
We really, for a type of a situation like that, we really have to, as an officer, witness something like that. And so that would be super helpful. I guess if you had a repeat offender that was going over and over, we looked at these, they have these license plate reader, noise collector cameras that, can, as a car goes by, can measure the noise, and they're used in other states. We talked to the legislature about that this year. They weren't super excited about, putting something, they don't like red light cameras or photocop or anything like that.
I don't know if I like it either.
Yeah.
I was just
but this is specific to noise, but yeah.
My had an earlier thought of, when talking about traffic and, talking about getting fully staffed, I thought of the idea of just those, robot speed limit things that have even the red and blue flashing light that you could put along Columbus or around the Capitol, or just
Flashes your speed.
or something like that. I don't know if that's ever been considered in that area, but it seems like maybe some simple fit.
Like just some signage that shows speeding
Or whatever. That's
or noise exceeding. I don't know. Maybe there's one that reads noise. We'll link it on.
East Capitol.
Yeah.
East Capitol's bad too.
They just run that up in the line. They gather by the east side of the Capitol, and they just
More.
it's just like running around in a line, making a lot of noise.
It goes on for hours, right? So
Goes on for
it's not a half hour here, there, it goes on for 3 or 4 hours.
I think my business, so remember I come over.
Yeah, I think curious.
From Zoom questions, there are, what are the current macro trends or challenges facing Salt Lake City that keep people up at night? And on a personal note, Jake would love to hear some highlights or recent wins from the department. For instance, he's noticed that the Guadalupe area along 600 West, where he lives, has been significantly quieter lately, with a noticeable decrease in transient traffic and camping. It'd be fantastic to hear if there are specific initiatives the department has implemented that are driving these positive changes.
Can you go to Project Connect real quick? So here's a couple fast wins. One, we're fully staffed. That's a big deal because when you have full staffing, you can do more work. So that's a big win. We know from an informal internal survey that morale is going up in the department. When morale is up with our officers, when they feel supported, and they're getting great support from elected officials from the community, they perform better. We know that. That's just normal organizational behavior. So that's good. We've been addressing the issues around crime and homelessness. I want to just highlight Project Connect. We took the top 50 highest utilizers in our city, those who are being arrested multiple times a year, who are using emergency departments. They're getting booked in jail, they're getting citations, you're calling about them. And we put 2 of our social workers dedicated to kind of case managing and navigating them in the system. We're collecting some pretty good data, and we're a little over a year into that now. And we've been able to reduce arrests of these individuals by 32%. So that's huge. It's a lot of time savings. So to Jake, one of the successes is our Project Connect. We're seeing some really great results. 84% of the 50 individuals also had less arrests the previous year. And a lot of this is by providing support, but also a higher level of accountability. You know, you have to bring both of those together. The state recently just committed another 600,000 ongoing to add 4 additional caseworkers so that we can expand Project Connect to help these individuals. So that's really exciting and a really big success. We were able to take a small population, help them, and also identify gaps in the system. Like we found maybe the courts aren't getting all the information they need to make a better informed decision, or you know, that this organization and our organization is not as well connected, but all of that is coming together. And so we're excited. That's a big win in the department. Let's say I have a question and I'll go back to that.
So yeah, I think we have time for one more question. So this will be the last.
50.
Okay, sure.
Sure, expanding.
Okay, mine is just a quick comment as well. I just get uncomfortable when we always pair unhoused populations with criminality. So I'm uncomfortable with this class-based link to criminality. So anytime we talk about criminality among unhoused people, maybe we want to also talk about crime among wealthy people, because it is just as common. So it just stresses me out when that's always the link. And I think when we don't have representation that's very good from a range of people from different social class positions in the room, I feel concerned about how that plays out.
It's a very good point. It's a thoughtful point, so I appreciate that. What I will say is there is an intersection on our streets of substance use, mental illness, carcinogenic behavior, and homelessness. But one of the things that we've tried to peel apart a little bit, to your point, is not all people who are experiencing homelessness or have criminogenic behaviors. So 2 weeks into my time here, I went over to the Jordan River where it was a hotspot. And what I saw was not homelessness, it was criminality. And it was people who actually, many of them had places to live. They were coming down to get their drugs and do drugs. So I appreciate the thoughtful comment. And if I can adjust my language, I will. But there is an intersection that we have to kind of peel apart. Not every individual is the same. We have to have individualized assessment and case support for these individuals. Some have criminality, some don't. Some have high levels of criminality, some have very little, some have none. So it's a good one.
There's also a high intersectionality of fraternities and behavior groups.
Absolutely.
As long as we're going to be talking about groups of people in criminality, just if we could recognize that there's intersections with all sorts of groups of folks.
Well, and to that point, you know, we have been working very hard up by the University of Utah around the fraternities and some of the challenges we're having there with criminal behavior. So it's a good point. And I think the question was focused on one thing, but you're right. It goes for everyone for sure.
And then just a really quick comment. At a previous neighborhood council meeting, I think it was in April, it was announced that there would be a police academy offered to us citizens. And my husband did the academy and loved it. I think it started in May.
Yes.
And he speaks so highly about it. He learns so much. He encourages others who might have that interest if you all are going to offer that again.
Thank you very much. And yes, we would offer it again, and we'll make sure to get around to the community councils to make that invitation. And I think when we come together in rooms and talk and communicate and understand perspectives, I think it's helpful for all of us. So I have a 7 o'clock. I can take a few minutes after in the back and before I leave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know where this goes.
I'll take it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. That was pretty cool. And then our updates from local leaders. So back to our agenda here. We can hear from the fire department.
I might be really loud. I'll let you just double mic it.
It's for the people online. Yeah.
It's loud enough for this mic to pick up.
Yeah.
So I know.
So I'm Captain Vaughn, Station 2, which is 3rd North, 3rd West area. And I've been there for about 20 years, 30 going on the job. So thank you for coming here. because it's the people that have an interest in their community that makes the difference. So. Let's talk about that. It seems to be the hot topic right now, because it is the hot topic right now. The Sandhurst fire happened last week. And before I get into that, I kind of want to talk about us. It's going to sound like I'm kind of giving us praise, but it's going to come around full circle, and I promise you it'll change. So as you know, or may not know, Salt Lake City Fire is an ISO 1 rated fire department, which there's only 1% of that in the United States. That deals with how fast we can get to emergencies, the amount of people, the training, the attention that the city leaders put money into your safety. That's both in fire and police. So if they had an ISO on police, I'm sure there'd be a 1 as well. So that's you should be proud of that. That being said, even though that fire went out, Mother Nature is more of the big firefighter than we are. You know, we can defend, we can kind of steer the fire, we can hope for the best, but there is times where Mother Nature wins. In LA was a big proof of that. When you're dealing with 100-mile winds, there's just not a fire department on the planet that can really do that. What we have going for us, though, is it's a start and an eye-opening of defensible space. Weirdly enough, in California, in the Palisades and other areas in Pasadena and other parts that burnt almost to the ground, the homes that had good defensible space survived. So I want you to consider that if you live on the benches or even a few rows away from the benches, how you treat your home actually has a better effect than we can treat your home and defend your home. Okay. And if you need help on that, call the same number the chief gave you, that 799-3000. That can go to fire as well. And or 799-FIRE. It's another number that you can call. That's if you don't remember, and they can help you. And we can, for free, go up there and give you an assessment of your house and what you can do to help prevent the fire. So let's talk about Sandhurst fire. Obviously, several homes were threatened. In fact, they actually kind of did a combination attack. They had structural firefighters there to go in and attack the fire if it came into the homes, because it looked like it was. But Mother Nature, just right at the perfect moment, decided to participate and start pushing the fire downhill. And then also, but what we've done differently since the LA fire, honestly, because it woke our eyes up, is to bring in the fact that we need to work with the state better. We need to work with ourselves better and train differently, and then work with the community more on this, because it's a big deal. Saw what happens. And so we had air crews flying in there within half an hour, which is really remarkable on a fire like that. And oh man, massive difference. And it was cool, right? You know, it's just, you know, they really do a good job on assisting us on attacking that fire. Because we typically attack the fire exactly where they tell us not to, from the head of the fire down, kind of try to keep the homes away. But what really saved that fire from getting into those homes were really well defended. Their yards were very, very well groomed. They obviously paid attention to the media, had called, had spent some money to defend their homes from that invasion that was actually invading it, and burnt down their fences and melted some of their fences. But their homes were so well protected by that defensible space, type of materials, even like the venting was created so the embers and stuff don't get into the attic and stuff. So really, really impressive, the change from last year's Sandhurst fire, where also Mother Nature decided to turn and save those homes. The difference between even just that neighborhood has been remarkable in just 1 year. So that's a kudos to the community, and you guys are taking it serious. And at the end of the day, that's what's really going to make the larger impact on this type of mission. We just had a fire just down the street, right next to our station. In fact, our address, the fire came in, is our station. I think we're on fire, but it was a typical thing that really expanded really quickly. It's so dry right now. It is so, it's really bad conditions. We've had more fires this June than we typically do the entire season. So we're seeing bigger fires in June when we see more of July, August, and September. So it's gonna be a thing. We're gonna be fighting wildland fires. So that's this. Is there any questions for me at this time? Oh, right on.
I wondered if any new rules are gonna be implemented about fireworks coming up, because I'm just dreading it.
Correct. It's just like last year. In certain areas, there'll be no fireworks. Obviously, the areas that have the urban interface, the WUI, the wildland urban interface, areas, that'll be zero. There will be more restrictions, and there'll be a lot more attention to us. So we'll be doing a lot more evaluation. You'll see us in the neighborhoods before the 4th, but throughout that whole firework period of time, you'll see our presence pretty heavily.
Yeah.
As a firefighter, I couldn't agree more to you, but there's other, beliefs as well. So it's kind of a balance is what we're looking for. So I think the tough part is the highest danger zones are zero allowance of it. And then also we'll have the highest presence of firefighters there. And we're fully staffed, just like police said they were. And so we're able also to bring more firefighters in for that whole month and a half.
All right, one last question. Okay.
Yes, with different apparatus. We'll have a lot of people around.
I live on the corner of Cortez and 700 North, and there's always cars up there on the weekends after 10 o'clock, smoking and drinking beer, whatever. I have to go out a lot when I see people actually smoking and remind them that it's a really dry area. We've already had fires. We've had a couple of fires just at the last couple of days, and one of them was intentional. Somebody just threw a firework over there just to start the fire. And I don't know if you remember it. It was right along the edge of Cortez, the top of Cortez.
Cortez is a thing. There's especially the neighborhood that we're at. Yeah, they're kind of surrounded by two urban interfaces, so that actually has a unique situation. So I understand the concern that Cortez.
To get some patrolling occasionally on that corner. I have had absolutely zero support for that corner for the last few years.
It's that's a PD. They're much better suited for, because it's a legal kind of activity, kind of what you're describing. So that's more of a PD thing. But we're more than welcome to go drive at any time and assess. So just call either 911. 911 also has a non-emergency aspect to it. So you can, if you can't remember the number, just call 911. They'll ask you, is this emergency or is this something that can direct you a different place on a 24-hour basis. So yeah, but feel free to call us. We'll go up there, and I'd rather stop the fire than have it start again.
You sign a letter to the police department saying this is an important area right now during the high fire season.
Well, they know it's an important letter. We have a map that we've designated. We had to submit that in the new state law that was generated last year, mostly because of the LA situation. So a lot of urban interface state law things will be developing through the next 2 years. It takes a long time for the bureaucracy of law to actually come into effect. But PD actually has that area, and I know Cortez is part of that because, especially the upper part of Cortez, because of its unique geographic interface. So, but I'll pass that on to our chief and talk about your concern on Cortez. So I agree with you. We actually will go to on Cortez because of its unique aspects. Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure.
And then next, can I do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
We usually have our Salt Lake City School District board member Ashley Anderson come every month to our meetings, but she couldn't make it today. So I have some updates from her from the Salt Lake City School District. There we go. The board passed a budget with no tax increase, but some directives to address a growing deficit. Students have summer learning and meal opportunities at Washington, Bryant, and West. And she says to look out for commuting pedestrians. And if you have any questions about bond construction or maintenance, you can email questions@slcschool.org. And Ashley is super nice. She's super responsive with her email. If anyone ever has a question, seriously, just email her. She will always respond, and she's the sweetest.
if anyone has any questions right now, we can have that for the transcript.
Yeah, or I can email them.
All right.
Okay.
And then Chris Wharton, he's managing another.
Do you have a slideshow?
My boss. I know I gotta work with my other bosses, which is you guys. Okay, so, exciting time to council. We did pick a new council member for District 4. Yeah, so they did change the state law. So if there is we can't do ranked choice voting anymore, which is how we used to pick council members. And then if we have a tie, instead of doing a second round of voting, which is what we would have preferred to do, they have to be determined by lot. So it's a coin flip. So by a coin flip, Jennifer Napier Pierce, former editor of the Salt Lake Tribune, former NPR radio host, is the new person for council member or for District 4, which is downtown Central City area. And she had to come right into the fire basically and vote on the budget. I talked to you guys last time about the budget, the structural deficit that we had. We went through the budget line by line, program by program. We did make several cuts, but in the end, we still had to raise taxes to make up the difference. So the average household, so the median household in Salt Lake City is $600,000, which is kind of crazy, but that if you're at 600,000, it should be about $9 a month increase to your property taxes. There also is an increase for utilities, and that will depend on your usage. But they say average household, you could be anywhere from $20 to $30 more a month, depending on what your usage is. If you have questions about how to reduce that amount, like or if you're on a fixed income, we do have a public utilities assistance program, and then we also public utilities will come to your house and help you with water efficiencies, or if it's monitoring your outdoor water versus your indoor water. They have ways that they can help with that. We have programs to help you convert your house, your yard to be more water wise. And also in terms of your garbage, if you can reduce that as well. If you don't fill up your garbage bin every month, you can request a smaller bin. It's a lower monthly charge, and so those are some of the ways that you can reduce your utility payments, especially if you're on fixed income. So yeah, not an easy decision to do, but there really wasn't a way to overcome the deficit through cuts alone. Yeah, other than those two things, I've also heard a lot about fire. One of the things that I was able to keep in the budget from that was to propose to be cut was to get rid of 2 of our park rangers. And our park rangers had actually put out multiple fires on their own just from walking around, seeing people that are camping and having a fire, which is not allowed. Putting that out, and then just brush fires that they've noticed because they've been on patrol in the foothills. So I think that is very, very worth the expense for the. Sorry, this is my daughter. I don't know why she's having such a meltdown right now, but she does. Thank you. Sorry. She's strong feelings about the arch, so that's why she's here. She's mad, as you can hear. So other than that, I wanted to see if there's or take some time to answer some questions if anybody has any. Yes.
Hold on.
So I know that you're not UDOT, but I'm wanting to know how we get in touch with the city engineering department, because they are working in partnership with UDOT regarding the Capitol Hill traffic study.
Mhm.
And I understand they're supposed to be in the final phases of that this summer.
Mhm.
But I really feel like those of us that live on Cap Hill kind of need to know what's going on with that, and you know, and where to land. And maybe there are people in the room that already know that. I don't, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, I haven't had an update on that in several months, so let me get one and get back to you.
We'll ask for it. Anybody else? We are a little bit behind.
Okay. If you have an extra question, I'm gonna try to stick around for as long as she'll let me, and would be happy to talk more. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, so now we're going to kind of switch from kind of the program side to more of the special topic side. And the first one is Garbett. Is that how you say it? Garbett Homes. They propose a development. And what was yours?
Perfect. Hey, everybody. My name is Marcus Stevenson. I'm with Garbett Homes. I've also got Paul Garbett with me. Clearly, he is a Garbett. I am not a Garbett. But if you didn't know, we're actually your neighbor. I can't say I live in the Capitol Hill neighborhood, but I can say I work in it. Paul does live in the Capitol Hill neighborhood. His parents do. Our CEO does. His brother. So good ties to this area. Our office is just right by the state capitol. So we are working on a property right here. Do you have the other slides?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Trying to get away from all the wordiness, and I'll just walk through some things. But if you don't know much about Garbett, so beyond being here, again, we're a local Utah home builder. We really primarily build along the Wasatch Front, really Wasatch and Summit counties and Salt Lake County. That's all where we're building right now. Everything we do is highly energy efficient. We're kind of considered the green home builder in the state. We've built over 800 zero energy ready homes. That's essentially where your home is net zero. Unfortunately, the federal government just discontinued that program. But there's a lot that we've done to show that we are highly energy efficient home builders. It's something that we bring to every project that we do.
This is the one, right?
He said there was a different.
It was this afternoon.
This
I
is
did
that
get a
one.
response.
All right, hold on.
This is what we have. We can make it work.
No, we'll find it.
Perfect. So we are working on this project on Hillside Ave. Right now, there is a historic home, an existing home on that property. Does anybody remember when that went through a demolition permit process back in 2020? I'm just curious if any of you were involved with that. Got one? Okay, so a little of history on the property. I'll have some images in a second if we can get it pulled up. The home that's on there was built in the late 1800s. It doesn't have a specific historic. There wasn't that somebody.
Okay, sorry about that.
Thank you. Lived in the house that makes it historic. It is in the historic district. One of the last remaining from that time period of the late 1800s. So in 1999, I'll take a step back now I have this pulled up, just so you can kind of orient ourselves. So our office is just up here, right below the Capitol, off of East Capitol Street. We've got the subject property right there. If we can kind of orient. If you'll go down to this other slide, thank you so much. So this is the condition of the current home. Again, built in the late 1800s. When the tornado came through in 1999, it destroyed much of the roof. Sadly, the person who lived in that home continued to live in it for another 14 years until about 15 years until 2014. And then one of the Garbett brothers, Jeff Garbett, who doesn't work for the company, but he bought it for himself, going, hey, this would be a great property to build my personal home on. And he thought the way to do that would be to, I'm not defending this, advocating for or against, but his thought was, we'll go in and get a demolition permit for this building. He went through that process. It took several years. The city said no. He appealed it. The city said no. Eventually, he goes, I don't know what to do with this. It's not feasible for me to actually build my own property on this house. So he went to his brother, our now CEO of Garbett Homes, and said, "Will you buy this from me? And maybe Garbett Homes can do something with it." So in 2023, we purchased the property. Our CEO continued to kind of go through a process of working with Salt Lake City. Hey, what can we do with it? And they've just said, it does not qualify to be demolished. You have to, whatever you're going to do, you have to save it. In order to keep costs down, we went to the city just earlier this year and said, can we totally recreate it? So it would be new construction, but we'll make it the same as it is now. That helps bring down the cost savings just because renovation is so expensive. City says, no, you can't do that. You have to renovate it. So we have come up with a plan to be able to handle the costs that come with this renovation. The first thing I want to say, because we're here to get your feedback, if you have any opinions, is that we went to the city because the HLC will have to approve this. We went to the city and said, can we just meet with the HLC and just get feedback? We're kind of open. The Historic Landmark Commission, yes. So this, the city council won't approve this. The Historic Landmark Commission can approve this. Now they can actually, they can go beyond zoning. They can restrict zoning. They have quite a bit of authority that they have. So we went to the city and said, can we just meet with the HLC? We want to be able to get feedback before going through and getting all new plans. It's pretty expensive for us. We don't have an architect on staff, so we have to go to architects, civil engineers, start working on all this. So we said, can we just meet with them? City said, nope, you need to come up with a plan. You need to give us that plan, and then we will move it forward. Thank you. This is our iteration of that. This is our first iteration, okay? And again, this is all coming from us to be able to restore this building because that's what they told us we have to do. So if you'll go down to the next slide, this is our site plan. So on the front here, so this is the existing home back here. So it sits pretty deep back on the property. We are proposing a 6-plex up front. They are 2 bedrooms each. We've got the parking. We'll see on another page where there's some kind of underground parking here, and then adding on a duplex to the back here. With this duplex, the one major change that has happened to this home over the years is that the person who lived in it for many years added on an addition to the back that is not original. So the city has said, you don't have to worry about that. You can kind of do on that side what you wish. So with that, with the 6 units up front, 1 here, 2 in the back, we've got 9 total with 10 parking spots. If you would, and some green space, I should point that out as well. Down to the next slide. Oh, so one of the important things here is, again, the HLC has a lot to say, but I do think it's important. We are trying to follow zoning as closely as possible. One of the challenges that we have, so this is RMF 35, which means you by right can build up to 35 feet. I do want to point out, just so we're very clear about it, there are 2 zoning exceptions that we are asking for. It is 3 stories, and I've got renderings of that all day. We'll get to those. One is that this property slopes down, and it slopes down about 8 feet as you go across. So when you look at it from the front, you're going to see 35 feet. On the back, because it slopes down, instead of having the roof go down like this, we have it straight across, but that means it is 8 feet taller technically on the back. That's not how you'll see it from the street, but it is a zoning exception we're asking for from the HLC. On the back end, we have to have a 10-foot setback, so we have to be 10 foot away from the property line. Because of the angle of this, we're bumping in about 4 feet. So we're asking for a 4-foot exception, so it'd be 6 foot on the back end. It's also important to note that this property drops off fairly steeply there, so we're not like right up on somebody, it drops off. But so I just want to be very clear that that is what we're asking for.
Is there that public park on that side? Is that what that is on that, where you say it drops off?
So that, or there's some apartments back there, it's not that public park.
Oh,
it's yeah, it's like
we're on the other side of State Street. I think.
Yeah, I see. So yeah,
yeah, correct. Okay, so here, just so you can kind of see the renderings of this, I'm trying to stick with the brick materials. So sticking with the materials that you would generally see within a historic district. But again, we are 3 stories here. And again, just to say that, just one second, just to say that this is our first iteration. As an example, the city came back and said, hey, for safety reasons, will you enclose the front here? So we're working with our architect to enclose that. As a part of the feedback that we want, we're having many conversations. We just on Sunday met with the neighbors on both sides of this property. We're here, we're trying to meet with the Greater Avenues Community Council, and then we have a meeting with the HLC at the beginning of August. So we're trying to take that feedback. Any feedback that comes out of this, we're probably not going to run back to our architect right away and say, hey, implement all these things, because we want to make sure we have all of these conversations, see where things overlap, see where they differ, and then figure out what do we need to do. Did you have a question?
I feel like 3 stories is too tall for that area.
I feel like 3 stories is too tall compared to the other buildings in that area. It's going to be just really stick out and not blend in with the neighborhood. 2 stories would feel a whole lot better. I know that's not as much money, but that's what
I definitely hear you, because it is taller. It's not actually the tallest building on the block, but it is taller. This is where on that front end zoning does allow for this, but the HLC will still have some say. And again, we've got lots of conversations to have. Can I just show? I've only got 2 more renderings, and then if you're okay with that, we'll go to those. So just so this is the back end. So again, the properties on each side of us, we've got some, I mentioned it's not quite underground, but covered, I guess is the better term, parking there underneath, and then 1 more. And then this is on the back of the renovated existing home with this duplex.
So we have a little bit of time for question and answer.
Well, I don't know if I just missed it. What is that existing home? What did that existing home look like? It seems dilapidated and probably not even up to code. And it's weird that you have to restore it, but how would you even?
We agree.
What?
We agree.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's fine. It's trying to save it. That's like.
Well, so did you have a rendering for that? How
we don't. This is part of the feedback we received on Sunday when we met with the next door neighbors. So we've asked our architect to get us a rendering showing another view. I don't have that right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, and okay. Yeah, that seems so weird.
If you go, yeah.
Okay.
If you go back to those photos of it.
Okay, we have 1 more minute.
Just real quickly, yeah, it'll look, just pretend that this is totally redone.
Yeah.
Looks new. That's how it'll be the same size, form, same windows. It'll just kind of renovate.
It is stucco. Yeah, so this was all materials that they had at that time in the late 1800s. And so we have to save anything that we can. And we're going through a process right now to determine that. We have to look at every single window and tell the city how we'll save the window. If we can't save the window, explain to them what that process will look like, sink the roof and the walls.
People live in there, like legally?
Right, the second.
Like, is it even up to code?
No, it has a massive hole in the roof because a tree fell on it in 1999.
Okay, yeah.
Good one to rebuild it, right?
1 more comment here.
Restore it. Yeah, we'll be restoring it.
Sure. Glad you're saving the historic building. All that for the Historic Landmarks Commission. Like the density, is it apartments or is it condos?
At this point, it's apartments.
Would love for more condos.
That's really good feedback. It's something I'm sure you all have heard. I think most developers get a little skittish about condos. In Utah, the legislature's been trying to change some of that. It's something that we do keep looking at, going, can we start to figure out how to do that as a developer?
Okay, and then how do people continue to give feedback?
It's a great question. I have a couple cards on me. Happy to give them out. Because yeah, right now we're in listening phase. And again, we'll meet with the HLC beginning of August. So it'll really be kind of the next couple months. And then hopefully have a more final product.
Thank you. Sorry, I was a little rushed.
That's okay. Appreciate it.
We really appreciate you showing it to us. And I think, yeah, thank you. I'm going to be more like pauses for applause because it is part of the deal here. Samuel 2 with our transportation, infrastructure, and planning report is next.
Did you have a slideshow?
I do. Just 2 slides.
You made one of them basically.
Yeah, whatever.
Keep replicating it every.
Which one is it?
You go to the share. You go back to the drive.
Okay. Can find it.
Yeah, we should not do this. Like keep doing this and expressing it. So
While they're pulling that up, I'll introduce myself. So I am Samuel Tu. I am the chair of the Transportation Planning and Infrastructure Committee of the Neighborhood Council. So our committee meets on a monthly basis to discuss transportation infrastructure and planning issues, things that are happening in our neighborhood, whether it be proposed projects like the one you just saw, or requests for input for code changes that might be happening on the city level, or to talk about issues that we're seeing in our neighborhood to surface potentially to the city or other constituencies. So there you go, Transportation Infrastructure Planning, TIP for short, TIP Committee. You are always free to reach out to tip@capitolslc.org if there's something that is bothering you that falls in one of those categories. Reach out, let us know. We'd love to hear from all of the community residents. Also, if you're interested in joining the committee, this is something you're particularly passionate about, happen to have an hour or two a month to help us out, we would love that. We're still recruiting committee members, so please reach out anytime to that email address, tip@capitolslc.org. Thank you. Sorry. And then, no worries. So we did just want to let you know about current public input opportunities that are ongoing right now. So the first one, that yellow QR code there, is for the zoning text amendment regarding community correctional facilities and jails. So what that basically is that the city is considering a code change to disallow correctional facilities and jails in 3 types of zones. The first one is light manufacturing. So in our neighborhood, think like the north side of our neighborhood that's along Beck Street, things like that. Mixed use zones, so think along 300 West here, and then public lands districts, so think like parks and things like that. So in those 3 types of zones, correctional facilities and jails would no longer be allowed. Right now, they're a conditional use, so like hypothetically, they could be approved. But this would make it so that they're no longer conditional use and just wouldn't be allowed. Yep. So if you have thoughts about that you would like to share while this is being considered, you can go to that QR code. There's also the link at the bottom there. And public comment for that is open until Sunday, June 28th. The other 2 are things that we have talked about, we'll talk about already, but I just wanted to give you a place to look at them all together. So the presentation we just saw about the Hillside Avenue construction, if you would like to provide public comment to the city about that, you can go to that QR code. Again, that doesn't go to the team that just presented to you, but it goes directly to the city, since they do have to approve that. So you can provide public comments there. Again, website at the bottom, and that public comment period is open until Thursday, July 23rd. There's also a lot of helpful documents on that page. It has like all the documents that have been submitted by the team to the city, so you can look through there, read through the proposal, and look at the timeline from here. So that's all there. And then the last one is for the Grand Liberty Arch Monument, which we'll be talking about a little bit more as well today. But if you would like to provide feedback to the Capital Preservation Board about that particular proposal, that QR code is there. And the link at the bottom here is for an informational page that our neighborhood council has put together that has information about that project and also includes the link to that form. I believe that is all I have to say. I see a question.
Now, the zoning text amendment regarding, you talked about the correctional facilities and jails.
Yes.
So is that to amend, to change the fact that they can't put them on mixed use lands and?
So it is, so right now it's a conditional use, like it could be approved, like could have a project for a correctional facility approved in one of those zones. This change is to make it so that they just are no longer allowed in any way, shape, or form. So
that sounds good.
Thank you. I am inclined to agree. Any other questions? Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. And then we totally forgot to announce the July 4th breakfast, which there's a flyer here. That'll be on the Warm Springs Park. And yeah.
Well, 8:30 to 10:30, July 4th, that's Saturday, free breakfast, a nice program. Not long, 10 minutes, well, more like 10 to 15 maybe. But it's been a really nice event over the years. So I hope you do it every year. This is not just because it's the 50th year. We've been doing it for, I think, 20 plus years.
20 plus years. So we invite you to come. You don't have to stay for 2 hours, of course. Come when you can, eat and run, but consider it. Thanks very much, folks.
Yeah, and I apologize for missing that on the agenda. That should have been on the announcements. So we're going to transition to the Grand Liberty Arch Monument discussion now. I will try to summarize this lovely report that Sam prepared because we met with the Capital Preservation Boards, Dana Jones and Lena Parker and Jennifer Daly Provo back on the 28th of May. This, of course, will be available for everyone to read. It is already available if you were able to find it on the links. But basically, we asked 3 specific questions. What is the process for creating monuments? They do have a process. Of note, in this case, there were 2 large commemorative elements considered or kind of like got into approval through a 100-year process. And the Grand Liberty Arch, for all intents and purposes, kind of replaced that, and then they kind of backburnered that. So they kind of talked about that. You can read the report. And then we asked.
Backburner what? I'm sorry. The Grand Liberty Arch or the other 2?
The other 2. So there was a Golden Spike Monument and the Utah Women's History First State to Vote Monument that were selected as part of the 100-year commemorative element process. The size of them were too big to fit on the main grounds, and so they either need to make those smaller or make their ground rules different for them to work. And then the Grand Liberty Arch was proposed directly after that in their board meeting, and then it ended up being approved. And then they ended up tabling those 2 because they decided to hate 2 big monuments happening at once. We then asked what was the best way to provide accurate information to residents and the feedback. Jennifer Daly Provo wanted us to use the Google form, which I think many of you have already used. And if you haven't, you really should use.
Is that different than that QR code Sam just showed?
It is the same thing. And is there anything else I need to summarize on this one? There are lots of concerns. It's extremely wide range of concerns. And then the final question that we wanted to know about was this project and the transportation study, like, have they been talking or do they know anything about the 2? And they did not. So there seems to be, at this point, or at that point, no communication between the 2, but they did agree that there should be a plan for pedestrians to cross that busy road. There's additional questions, and we should just get to the process. So we're going to discuss things.
Yeah. So we just want to see if people have questions about the report.
Does anyone have questions about the report? Okay.
Nice summary.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm sorry. A lot of emotions here.
What suggestions do you have for info that I feel? Or do you not share?
Did you
mean like?
you have.
I guess just.
We're gonna basically go through it right now. Yeah.
Eventually.
Not that you're trying to force it, I would give detail like, you know, like the monument size, location, whatever you don't like about it.
What you just want to show this.
Or yeah, or how you feel, not consume them.
Because you actually remember. Oh, please. Are you going to read the?
Can we say something more than once?
Yeah.
No, well, it is per email, so if you have multiple emails.
Okay, so. Yeah. So now we're going to consider. Man, I don't know. How should I do this? So we're just gonna vote on these now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we basically, during the program, everyone wrote amendments to the various proposals that we had already had. Sam has been working diligently back there on that table to consolidate all of the written comments that were, yes, thank you. And so now here is a list of proposed council actions that we can choose to do.
Yeah. And do you want to read the?
No. So should I just start here?
Yeah, I'll just explain briefly.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so we thought the most efficient way to do this, if there's no serious concerns, we propose that if folks want to speak to any particular proposal, we'll give time to that. At the conclusion of speaking to the individual ones, there will be time for general discussion and comment, and we will open the forum. It will be approval voting. Any proposal that receives a majority of votes cast is adopted as the will of the council for the leadership to then go do. The leadership are authorized to do it, and so on. Any other questions on the process for that?
Can we just do all of them if the group as a whole decides that at that time?
If the group votes, for example, to do all of them, but through the purpose of trying to comply with the vote, they discover it wouldn't be worth their time, there are more efficient actions to be taken, or more resources should be dedicated to one of the other options, could they abandon that? Or if because it was voted on, they can't abandon?
In my view, the function is authorizing officers and the board to do these things. And then we're a volunteer organization. We'll do our best to do what the people want. But
You're not bound, is what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to do things that aren't.
you can take us to task if we don't do something that you think is high priority, but I don't think we're strictly bound.
You know, as a council, the board could provide feedback on the progress they're making in these areas. So if there's something that.
We report every month.
We do, yeah, we report it on, every month. And then the emails do include, and the website does include additional details that you can find. So I think, so are we going to discuss each one so number one?
May I just say one thing? I'm sorry, I may, go against this. Thanks, Sam. The board doesn't have to do all the work. If you can't do all these things, then we should volunteer to help you, it seems to me. Something getting it out there.
Yep. And yeah, just to clear everyone in, like the leadership at this point has remained neutral on this, and then we all get to decide right now how to put our efforts through this. We're trying that.
Can you just quickly get a show of hands on who wants to speak to any one of these?
Okay, show of hands on who would like to speak on number one. And then who would, or do we, oh man, it's cut off.
I will, there's only 9. Yeah, sure, just read them out loud. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, okay, here we go. Hold please.
There we go. Okay. So we're just going to breeze through these really quickly to get an idea of what we should talk about first. Okay. So show of hands for item number 1.
As in who wants to discuss it, not who wants to vote for it.
Right. Who like has a problem with it and wants to discuss it.
Or doesn't have a problem with it and wants to speak in support.
Or
yeah.
that.
Okay. 1 wants to speak for that one.
Okay. Number 2.
Oh, I think he was gonna read it all first.
Yeah, I'll explain one more time. We have a number of things that we could discuss. Let's decide which one we should discuss first. And we'll do that by a show of hands really quickly.
Or just help us allocate how much time.
Just to help allocate time. So again, item number 1, show of hands who wants to discuss that. Item number 2. Item number 3. Sorry. I'll let you time to read.
Four people decided they would take on number 1, take up number 2, so that, you know, if we're raising hands, know that there are support for all of them, but, you know, there's a way to divide it up. And
We just have to get approval to do it first.
so, yeah, all right, that's
We can do that. We would just need to decide to do that, right? You know, if we think that's the best way to divide and conquer.
Yeah, not all of them are affected, yeah. One's the best. Yeah.
That's for you to decide. So let's proceed to discuss, please.
They have it first.
It could be either way. Yeah, discussion for or against any of these proposals.
So number 3, how many?
So yeah, show of hands for number 3. 2. Okay, and then show of hands for, okay. And then 3. Okay, and then show of hands for number 4. Yeah, 2, 3. Okay, and then number 5.
3. Are you going to speak to these items, all of you? I'm extremely sorry.
We've tried to.
If you are going to speak to an item, please raise your hand. If you want to vote for it, we will all cast votes after they've been discussed.
May I, while you're all thinking of it here, to suggest one possible approach? I haven't read all these completely, but
If you would like to suggest an approach,
potentially useful things for us to do as a council.
so authorize us to do it.
I'm just throwing it out there for thinking. Why don't we just ask who wants to work on one?
Yeah.
Who wants to work on 2?
So-
Who wants to work on?
Agree, but we do need to approve it first.
Yeah.
Okay,
Then let's just say we.
yes, they're all great ideas.
Should we just cut to the chase and
I will get 2
Yeah.
each one.
or just vote on them all and then
All right, new plan. We'll just start at the top. So we're gonna start at the top and we're gonna have 2 minutes to talk about it. And I will try to be really judicial and get everyone a chance. So for item number 1, prior to a vote on item number 1 as a proposal, is there anything that people would like to discuss?
I submitted this and would love to speak to it. Okay. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, 2 minutes. Okay, so, speaking as a resident of the neighborhood, not as council member, but one who happens to be a lawyer, it is the Attorney General's job to investigate complaints and allegations of violations of the Utah Open Meetings Act. We don't have to prove our case. We don't have to prove that any law was broken. All we have to do is timely submit something that says that we think it may have been broken. They have to investigate it. If we want to do that, I think we should. I think it's more important to have something in sooner than it is to have something in longer.
love it.
That's why I would strongly suggest that we go with this option. And I also submitted option 3. I think that is something that we could do in tandem, 2 different letters. This one speaking to you as your council member, if you wanted to do 3, there's nothing, I don't know who submitted these 2, but the state is exempt from local processes. So there isn't anything the city or the county could do that would not be exempt by the state or any, group of the state. But I would be happy to, again, as the council member for the area, to submit a letter from me and any other council members who want to join, but it's probably just gonna be me, in support of 3. And just saying that I'm getting a lot of feedback about this, that I don't feel that there is a public process, that I stand with the neighborhood and ask that, so I would submit a letter in addition to whatever you submit if you choose to do number 3. Those I think are the 2 most effective.
Okay, is there anyone in that wants to speak against number one?
Yes, but.
Well,
The
okay.
clock is already running on open, isn't it?
Yes.
We've already lost a month.
Clock is running. You have
90 days.
Yeah, you have 90 days to file a lawsuit. And obviously, the proposal is not to file a lawsuit, but we don't want to go past 90 days because that's an easy way to just dismiss the complaint and say you can't file a lawsuit at this point. The investigation is pointless. My hope is that if you submit the complaint and that gets some like news and attention, some support, other people might be interested in filing a lawsuit. So the sooner you act, the better.
Okay. Speak to number two.
Okay, and then
Would anyone like to speak to number two?
would anyone like to speak to number two? So I think one is fine.
So should we just vote on, after we vote on one right now?
There will be we will
Okay,
vote on it as part of a poll. This is a form. You speaking to number two?
Yeah. As somebody who goes to the Capital Preservation Board meetings as part of the work that I do, I will say, yes, we should definitely file a formal complaint and also make sure that we as a community council help shape whatever monument gets built, because the reality is it will likely get built, knowing this board, whether or not it looks exactly what it looks like now, right? We have the opportunity just to shape that. My understanding is the artist is receptive to feedback. I know they did present, and it was, and also the state will be doing private fundraising for this, and they hold the purse strings. So the reality is, if the community makes enough noise, there is an opportunity to help shape this.
But the state is not supposed to be.
And also, those are all connected. So not wearing my state hat, wearing my community hat. So I think that is something that this council should consider, is that formal complaint in addition to the traditional methods of utilizing OPNA.
So just a reminder, we were going to discuss these. So yeah, there will be time. Yeah, there will be general discussion. Does anyone else want to speak to number two? Sorry. There's no more time.
Is there a way to stop this, or it's moving forward?
They said it's moving forward, but that's to her point, we can help maybe shape it.
I just wondering.
Okay, please go ahead.
Sure. My request is going to be we kind of merge 2, 3, and 4 together. Feels like those are all the same requests to the Capital Preservation Board. So that would be, I'm supporting the underlying request.
If they are all approved, they will all be merged.
Remove the one that Chris just told us, if whatever the city can't do.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so
number 3.
Yeah, Sam, please. Anybody for number 3?
Is there anyone else for number 3? I'm just gonna say, I am pretty sure Capital Preservation Board is supposed to have a process for accepting complaints from the community. I've never heard them tell me what that process is. I attend those meetings as a resident every month. So I think it's useful to complain to them a fair bit.
And more for 3?
Well, I agree. 2, 3, and 4 are all very similar. We could combine those. I think it's interesting being in that initial meeting with okay. Jen Daly Provost, who had put it into motion for the board to vote on this, admitted that she didn't fully know what they were even approving or voting on. And, that's straight from Jen's mouth to us. And so she even said that she was looking into maybe the wrongdoings of that meeting, but I don't know whatever came about that. But yeah, I think she might, what I'm getting at is maybe she could even help support that formal complaint and represent us.
Does anyone wish to speak?
Okay, let's try to get through this list. Can we skip 4 and go to 5?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Anyone wish to speak?
5 or 6.
Don't need 5 or 6.
There's one hand back there.
Go ahead.
Sure. I'm a fan of striking 5, as Chris had mentioned. I think it's still worth reaching out to city and county officials and asking them to engage in this. So probably a modification of number 6.
Yeah, I can ask Councilmember Johnson from the county who represents this area, and then the 3 at-large councilmen from the county, if they want to join. I'll write a letter, send it to them, be like, you and I.
Okay, any more for 6? And going on to 7.
I was just gonna say, there are so many important issues here that we can't wait for a month to have another meeting. I think on some, we should, including addressing number 7, is develop a committee tonight that will work on it in the next
have a
couple of
committee.
weeks.
Join the
and,
committee.
Just get it done.
We have a committee. You have been invited to join that committee.
You have a committee that's working on all of them?
Well, we're voting right now what ones to work on, but yeah.
That's not good.
Well, no, that Tim is a committee that can help work on.
We are a committee up
We're voting after this.
So we're voting on which things.
Yes, Sam, please explain.
No. I want to speak to number 6. I do think there is a place for the city in this, in that the statute that establishes Capital Preservation Board requires that the Capital Preservation Board work with Salt Lake City on improvements to properties adjacent to the Capitol.
All right.
Okay, and is there anyone who would like to speak to number 7?
I think it's like, we want to throw everything we can at this.
Okay, and then number 8. I'll just take a moment to read if there's anything.
You definitely do that, but that's part of the plan.
Okay.
So I don't have anything to say on 8. I do have one thing that's not listed here.
Then you should have written it down.
Well, just say like, can we contact the media like Salt Lake Tribune and say as a community, as a council, we're formally against this.
Well, that's part of this. That's part of this. All right. Okay. Number 9. Anybody? Stamp. Thank you, guys. I'm brand new to all this. This is hard.
Yeah, I think, in the proposal that the architect or the artist presented, he said that there would be 5,000 visits or 5,000 people visiting this thing daily. Well, that's 5,000 people crossing Columbus, 5,000 people, crossings back. So maybe Tip has already considered this, but that intersection gets clogged now at different times of the day. If you have 10,000 more crossings daily, are they going to have to build an underground tunnel, pedestrian tunnel? Are they going to have to build a pedestrian bridge? Will it be ADA complicit or compliant?
And there's no plans for.
And how much would it cost?
Now
More.
we can accept general comment. They're limited to 1 minute each, 2 minutes each.
Does the state or the city own
general?
Okay. All right. So now we are going to accept general comment on any of them.
Okay, my
just
general
the whole
comment
thing,
is
the whole
that
Or the whole thing.
that UDOT study is one of our best friends. Because I sat in that meeting and Dana Jones blew past that UDOT study. The fact that she said she didn't know it is BS. and that study is not finished. And that study is specific to that street and that park and that area. And it's just what this gentleman said too. They have not taken parking, traffic, anything in consideration. For those of you that worked on the roundabout in front of the Capitol, did they do a traffic study? No. And so that's going to be, I think, one of our best friends is this traffic thing. And then I've been looking too, does anybody have any ideas of any other organizations that we could partner with? I looked at like public lands and things like that. And it just doesn't seem like there's any local organizations.
You're like to save our trees.
Okay. And
I'm here with the Greater Avenues Community Council, and we're willing to potentially join in on the fight.
And is there any other general questions, comments?
I feel like this, arch is way out of scale for the area. It's taller than anything in the neighborhood. It's the neighborhood that we're talking about. It's got 20 homes right across from it, and I don't think that this project belongs where they think it should go. It should go somewhere in an urban area. Downtown, not where they want to put it.
So yeah, so Phil,
If at all.
Or somewhere else.
Somewhere.
Anything else?
we should all fill out the form, so the more.
I was just gonna tag on to that and say, like, I believe he admitted last month that he designed it before, and then he was later given the property. And I feel like
He's been trying to sell this for years. He's a monument salesman in Houston, Texas, trying to sell this.
I guess my point is,
Yeah.
like, if we're gonna put something in our neighborhood, it should be designed for the space that it's going in and not just a universal.
Yeah.
Monument.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay,
Yes,
anybody? Additional comments? Okay,
I do have one.
okay.
Only person that really pushed this through was the governor. And I think the press needs to they need to get the story, and they need to do a story about it as soon as possible.
Sure, well, I think.
I know. We need to be very strategic about how we use media capital. Because you don't have as much media as you think you do. And so we really need to have our story and our narrative together. I mean, I can tell you right off the bat, the Salt Lake Tribune needs to redo their story because they built a story off a press release and called the Triangle Park a vacant piece of property. So I'm just saying, I'm a former member of the media. Let's be strategic about how we use that capital. Because we can use it, it'll be good, but we need to think through first.
We love your help.
Yeah,
Okay.
so Chris's initial thing about the Attorney General investigating that meeting, would that include?
Yeah, sorry.
Maybe
The history leading up to that meeting where there was these backroom Spencer Cox meeting with the monument guy way back in 2025, February, signing off formally in February, and then the board apparently didn't know anything about this, like going before the meeting even took place. Okay, good.
Yeah, because Chris has probably seen it. There is a letter. It's from the governor, dated February 28th.
Yeah,
They voted.
And Jen had no idea, Dana had no idea that Spencer Cox was even involved, and they were the ones to approve it. It's like, how did you not know your governor was pushing this?
Again, just offering information, but anyone can file a government records access, a grammar request. Especially if you're looking for something as that specific, it's pretty cheap to get that grammar request. I don't know certainly an organization can file it too, but any individual could do that. And that would be a good project if somebody wanted to volunteer to do it.
Does it help to have multiple individuals filing the request?
I don't think so, because especially if you're seeking anything that's overlapping, that it might delay the request by getting multiple. So.
Is there any other general discussion?
So it's Government Records Access Management Act, or GRAMA. And anyone can file a GRAMA request. You have to say like what it is that you're looking for, the date range, and like where you think it would be. But any government record can be, with some exceptions, like ongoing police investigation, nuclear secrets, things like that, you can't request. But other than that, like this letter, if this letter is in existence, I haven't seen it. I've heard about it.
it's an official letterhead.
Okay. Great, yeah. So all of that is grammable.
Okay, any other
That is
comments? Okay, Sam.
So please fill out the form to approve of leadership and committee members doing these things, if they approve of them. And then there's been some things that have come up that I would like to move for consideration, and we'll just vote on it. However, Jonathan chooses to vote on it, if that's okay. I would like to move that the council submit a grammar request on this topic.
Yes.
Yes.
All in favor, or well, it was seconded, I heard it. All in favor? Any opposed? The ayes have it, that is unanimous. Did you have another motion?
Nope, unless, yeah, I guess someone else can if it.
Okay, is there any questions about voting? If you cannot scan this, you can record your vote back at the secretary desk. But you should be able to scan this and record your vote on the proposals that we have just discussed. And I can continue to answer questions if we do that, but please take the time to do that. We have a quorum present.
If folks have no further public comments, if you're adjourning, I have an activity for us to do after we adjourn.
I do have, if I may, comment or.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, it was mentioned in that list, or as I mentioned vocally, having a strategic approach to this seems really smart. And rather than a bunch of us going off in different directions, I wonder if, I guess I'm advocating for a strategic plan. So that things get done in an orderly fashion and all the right things get done when they need to get done and so on. Okay.
When was the last time GLAM made a strategic plan?
Then you have a certain spot for people to go first. Or there's like a certain.
Oh, sorry. Should we still submit feedback for this to the full form?
Yes.
And if we have multiple criticisms, should it all be in one entry, or can we submit multiple comments?
You can submit multiple ones. They have a form. It'll be. If you think of stuff later and you want to add it, it'll just collate into their process. Okay, has everyone gotten a chance to vote? Please do that. And I think we can adjourn. If you need help with this process, please go back to that table and our interns will help you do that.
I was just hoping you have them all or none.
Oh, sure.
Okay, if we're adjourned, I would like to facilitate getting people's information if they are interested in supporting any of these activities. So, if you're not interested in supporting these activities, please help put away chairs.
Yes.
If you are interested in volunteering to support, and clean up the food and beverages if you don't mind. But if you are interested, just come forward and then I suppose we can spatially divide. Yeah, here, come to the front if you're interested in supporting any of these things.
Yeah.
We can collect information on what you're interested in doing.
Thank you, everybody. We are adjourned.